Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ZSR and welcome to the A Link to the Past All Dungeons RMG monthly raid. A few glitches here and there, no witcher glitches, but some cool fun, some good routes, some great races, and two wonderful commentators with Malmo and Concision. Take it away, it's all yours.
Hello, everybody. This is a weekly race between Crithel and Doomtap and two others. This is all dungeons restricted major glitches, which means that some out-of-bounds clips will be done in the overworld and the underworld, but nothing more than that. So this is a casual race. However, we will be having an event shortly also on ZeldaSpeedRuns of this category. This is going to be the RMG League, but we're doing all dungeons this time, and this is a really good way to showcase that. Both runners are on the world record route. Doomtap actually has the world record. He got it last week. And Crithel has about 2 minutes above Doomtap, so it's well within range of having a nice competitive race because it's very easy to have disasters in this run, but, you know, we just plug on because that's how we do it. How are you doing, Concision? I hope you're looking forward to it.
Doing quite well. I'm looking forward to seeing some glitches today. And two very good runners. So this should be a great showcase for the category. And starting in about 10 seconds.
So as we start, the route already diverges from RMG in Link's house, which sets the stage for the rest of the run. It'll be very different at the beginning. Normally you would see us go to Zelda and rescue her, walk her the long way around through the maze, through the sewers. That won't be happening in this run. We will rescue Zelda later, but not through that path. So the first divergence here is that we will be getting the lamp from Link's house because we won't be visiting Zelda's cell anytime soon. And the lamp is needed for some dungeons. So this part, walking to the uncle, that's the same. But after the uncle, they will also be doing something a little different. They'll be going into the castle and jumping off a ledge and saving and quitting in the middle, which arms EG. That's a glitch that we normally don't allow, but if you use that in the overworld, you don't actually get EG. You just get like an invisible Link state where you can go through sprites, and that helps us break out of the castle and start the actual all dungeons route. Okay, so here's the difference. Yeah, Doomtap's doing something called Ungle Jump. It's just a slightly faster way to jump off a ledge. You can see how much time he's saving over Crithel. With Crithel doing the more traditional go to the castle way. That's a very difficult clip to save time on, let alone do it all.
I've been watching Doomtap do PB attempts lately, and I was curious if he'll change any of his tricks or route much at all for a race context. I don't really know.
So this trick is called Lonk. It's possible that Doomtap could have gotten hit in the right way there and been fine. He didn't want to take any chances, so he went into select buffers, which is something I've been doing as well. In a race, you want to get that first try because you'll spend 30 seconds getting EG again and restarting, which is not really how you want to start a run. Both of them actually, like, Crithel caught up a lot just from that, not having to select buffer. He just got on the pixel and got hit. You have to get hit into the door first try, or else you'll lose your EG armed. So that EG, the whole purpose is to walk through that guard so we can break out of the castle. Other people might go down to Link's house and clip directly to Eastern, but Doomtap and Crithel have some shopping to do. This route requires a bottle for a glitch that we will be seeing in Pod later on. So now that they have their bottle, they have to go to Eastern, and the fastest way to Eastern is to wrap the map. This is a little bit risky because if they move right on the screen at all after wrapping the map, they will hard lock their game and have to start over probably from Uncle, because that's where they last saved and quit. But Doomtap gets in. They're aiming for a spot on the tree trunk there. Yeah, Skrithel taking it very safe, tiptoeing to the spot. He doesn't want to get nudged to the right either. That will also break it. Now Eastern. This should be more familiar. Concision. It's Eastern Palace with one less heart, so it's like skipping Sank Heart, but otherwise it's the same dungeon.
Yep, makes sense. We have all the equipment that we usually use here. No boomerang, but we don't usually use the boomerang.
There's some optional rupee routing you can do in here for the bottle potion purchase, but you can also just get both chests in back of Saha's closet. You need 60 rupees to buy a green potion, which they use for the glitch in pod. So even if they had a boomerang, they'd probably just be slashing popos anyway. It does change the menus slightly. This damage boost trick is something most NMG runners are very familiar with. It's a little bit riskier on 3 hearts, but I think it won't be an issue. Definitely not for Doomtap. He gets it perfectly. You go for a boost that doesn't knock you too far off path. Ooh, Krithel is a really nice one too. That sideways boost. Very little wasted movement there.
Yeah, very nice from both runners.
Oh yeah, another funny thing about the menus, the bottle is a trap. If you menu over the bottle, you lose 1,000,000 years from the sub-menu opening. So they have to work around that when they menu.
Yeah, bottle menus were the biggest reason why I dropped bottles when I was running NMG. They're not fun.
Arrow routing is also important. Like, even in NMG, you want arrows for Landmo, but you see Doomtap going out of his way to get those. There's a trick later on that requires you to just spam 6 arrows and 2 bombs, and you don't want to get to that point and not have 6 arrows. Krithel is considering 27 to be good enough. It is good enough, but Doomtap always takes it safe. Both of them, I think, will be using the bow once just to clip to the witch's hut, so that will cost an arrow. You don't have to, but it's faster. And it looks really cool.
I'd say really good Eastern Palaces from both runners.
Yeah, Krithel's saving time in Eastern. Just 1.5 off gold even.
And of course, doing Eastern first lets us get our boots, which is when the game really begins. Although I guess we did glitches already, so you could say that this game has already begun.
Yes, the game begins at Uncle for Doomtap. You don't need boots to clip, but it makes it a lot easier. But also it lets you dash around. You do need boots for the pod clip. That we'll be seeing later. Because that requires a spin speed. So Krithel, I know he does this. He just picks up all 3. He believes that if you pick up both 50 rupees here, you're getting most or all of that time back in pod from not collecting pod rubies. Doomtap and Krithel both do this semi-risky dash into what looks like a transition that would hardlock you. If you do it right, it won't hardlock you. Krithel does it too. He will not be doing it in the race today. The method he knows requires same frame input, and if you miss it, you have to recognize that you missed it and back it up. And if you don't, you will hard lock your game and have to start over from Uncle, which would not be great.
All right, well, both runners have their potions, which I guess will be used soon.
Yep, the next dungeon is Pod, but it's not real Pod. It's actually Spectacle Rock Cave, which happens to be next to Pod in a way. This is how they get up the mountain without the glove. You do a series of clips on this corner, which puts you on what would be bumper ledge in the Dark World, and you hop down a few times and you're in the Old Man Cave. It's not the only way up the mountain, but it is the fastest way.
Then I assume that we're saving the old man for our mirror, which will be useful in Pod, or is it for
Yeah.
the save and quit spot, or both?
It's both. The mirror is what we'll be using to rescue Zelda and other things. You could technically beat the game without it, but it's certainly not faster too. This clip goes to Pod, specifically to Spectacle Rock Cave, but you'll see it's eventually going to be Pod. So, diagonal walls in this game are extremely exploitable. It's not even the first diagonal wall clip that we'll be seeing in this split, if all goes well. Both of them using different methods to get through the wall. One of them is teleporting, and the other one is just getting clipped in. And if they were to exit and re-enter the dungeon, they would be in real Pod, but they have other business here. They want to pick up the big key, and the reason you want to pick up the big key in this state is because when you pick up a big key while in a cave, instead of giving you the Pod big key, it gives you the big keys of Hyrule Castle, Desert, and Hera. And that lets you skip a lot of those dungeons, especially Hera, where you won't have to do the tile room. But the consequence of that is that you don't have the Pod big key, but you still have to do Pod because it's all dungeons. So the next step after getting Hammer is to open the Pod big key door, which requires a pretty involved rail clip. And that's where the bottle comes into play.
Got it.
This hover is it's a 10-second time save over bomb jumping. If they bomb jump, they would have to go all the way around the dark maze and exit out that door. Hovering saves a lot of time because you can hover back to the bridge and then continue on. This is the beginning of the Pod basement clip. The first thing they have to do is get spin speed. And to get spin speed in one of these spiral stairs, you have to use a potion and transition up on the same frame. It looks like a YBA if you're familiar with those, but it's not actually a YBA, it's just using the potion. Both of them are successful. So the next part is they have to get an up teleport on this slope. If you're on the right pixel and you diagonal into the slope, you will teleport upward into the rail where you can begin the clip. Both of them successful with the up teleport. They've canceled their spin speed, which means if they fail this clip, they won't be able to restart it. However, there is a backup where you do this much later with the cane. So the run's not actually over, you just lose a couple minutes. Griddle having a really good basement clip. He's actually gained a lot of time on Doom Tap. And he is successful, so that's the hardest part of the run. Doom Tap looks like he will be successful as well. If he can get this last left-rightward movement. There we go. Very nice.
So this is breaking back into the castle.
Yep. So all dungeons means you do have to rescue Zelda, but you also have to rescue Zelda, or at least do something to get the game out of this rain state. Because while the game is in rain state, sprites are not spawning in the overworld, the light world. So there's a lot of things you can't do. And the main reason we're doing this now and not earlier is because having the mirror lets you shortcut a good portion of the dungeon, and not in the usual way. You would think that if you mirror with Zelda, you just go back to the entrance you came in, but actually they will be doing a trick where they save and quit first, which resets the mirror spawn to Sanctuary. And you might notice they're not killing Ball and Chain. They don't need to. Picking up that pod big key in Cave State lets them skip this big key. It's not a huge time save, but it is something you will be taking advantage if you can. And grabbing that rail despawns the shield, saving 70 frames on the text. It's the same as rat frames. If you're familiar with RMG, you get hit by the rat coming out of Sanctuary in the right way, you will exit with Link's arms out and no shield and save time on lag. So the next destination is Hera, where they will get one key and not spend it in the usual spot, because like I said, you don't need to do tile room in this category if you do this route, but this key will be used to get the hook shot in Swamp, which seems confusing if you're not familiar with glitches. There's another diagonal wall in here, and diagonal walls are awesome. Ooh, Crystal does not get the early bomb jump. Doomtap doesn't go for it. So it's a big time loss. It's not run over, but it is a big time loss. Probably mirror out here, right?
Yeah, that one hurts a lot because we have to redo beetles and everything.
Yeah. So this is another place. This is probably like the last big like glitch for a while. I mean, there's some overworld clipping, but this is fake clippers. So you have to get fake flippers by overloading the splash, and then clip to this rail here. Crystal not giving up on the early bomb jump. He's manually adjusting his pixel.
Okay.
Ooh, the lag. Okay, I would pick up that bomb. It's probably off bomb route, having done the bomb jump twice. Alright, here comes Doomtap going to Thieves Town. So the big danger from here until like Meyer is dying, because you don't have very many hearts. If you haven't done Pod and you haven't done Hera, you haven't gotten those hearts. So he's exiting Thieves Town with 4 hearts, which is actually more than you usually have, and has to survive Thieves Town with the fighter sword and 4 hearts. which can be very dangerous. There's a lot of RNG in that dungeon that can screw you.
Is the routing through Thieves Town the same as NMG, or is there any differences here?
There is a difference in the pre-blind cell area due to not having a glove. So instead of picking up the rock, you have to kill the room and go around on the conveyor. So you do the conveyor room in both directions in this category. The nice thing about items in vanilla, except for swords, is that swords are too, but they work weird. They're not progressive. So they can get like tempered sword on Smith without having master sword. They can get mitts and thieves without having glove. They actually don't use the mitts in this route. They use the glove to do Ice Palace and to use some portals, but there's no point in this. You can use they'll use the mitts to get the Smith, but it's not required. It's just faster. There are ways to do the mitts or the Smith without mitts, but this is the fastest glove you can get, so just do that. You don't go to desert until much later.
Do we not need mitts to access Ice Palace in this category?
We need glove inside to get to Cold Stare, but don't need mitts to get into the dungeon. Okay. You'll see them do a mirror wrap, which is an overworld transition corruption that gets you in. Just gets you inside of that Ice Palace area without lifting a rock or anything.
Got it.
Both of them are having a good Thieves Town. Nice Stalfos dash for Doom. He really knows this game. He's so good at it.
Yes, he does.
That's one of those rooms with RNG. Ooh, the arrows. Critical actually did get like a kind of optional arrow from the pot. There's a couple ways to do that room. You can throw a bomb at the Stalfos. It's a little faster if you can get it right, but if you go down and kill the Stalfos, you can get an arrow pot that you otherwise wouldn't be near. And that can be nice too. And of course it would cost a bomb to do the bomb strat, and bomb and arrow routing is kind of tight in this category. Maybe not so much in this route, but depends on what route you're in. You use a lot of them. Successful. Oh, careful. All right. Successful blind for Doom. The next thing they'll be doing is, this should be familiar with you. It's just NMG Skull, except we don't do brewery because we already got 200 rupees in pod because we were in that rupee basement. Everything else is exactly the same, but with less health, basically. I guess there's one other difference, is that they will also be picking up the book when they pick up the Smith, because you do need the book to get Ether to get to Mire. It's the only place you use the book. And to get there, Doomtap lifts the top rock, mirrors directly into the library, and then when he comes out, he'll do something called Frog Door, where he presses A at the right time and talks to the frog without lifting the rock. So you've heard of Top Rock Frog Talk. This is No Rock Frog Talk.
Very nice.
How common is it to get that Skull Rock in RMG?
It's pretty common to get it at some point in this split, but it sort of varies as to where you'll get it.
Yeah, the bush prices are weird, and they get reset on save quit, which makes this a little different from RMG, but I wasn't sure how different it would be. Because you can also get
Yeah.
on the mountain, dashing through the bush to do the Death Mountain descent.
Yeah, sometimes in No Major Glitches you get it in Thieves Town as well when you're coming back from the portal. But you usually only get it once in the run.
Oh, comfy 4-heart Mothula. That's just par for the course in this route. You just don't have hearts until you're done with Mire and Pod.
That's terrifying.
It is so scary. There are routes that you can do that have more hearts, but this is the fastest route that we have available, and both of them are going for it. And have always... Well, DoomTap recently picked up the route. He picked it up earlier, I think like a year or two ago. He tried for world record for a while, but didn't stay in it for long. And then this year, of course, with the League, he went all out and got the world record. Krithel has been on this route for a very long time and has never turned back. Krithel was one of the first people I saw running this route after Yuzuhara got the record.
Good fight from DoomTap.
Greatly done. That double poke dash strat is the difference between getting a one spike there and having an absolute party.
Yep. One thing that I find really interesting about AD RMG is how many different sort of viable routes there are. Obviously, there's the world record route, which is the fastest, but you have like meaningful choices to make if you're not going for world record, I guess, as to which route you might run. Whereas for No Major Glitches, it's really just, do you want silver arrows for Ganon or not?
Yeah, you have some like safeties and energy, and they don't do that much to your route except slightly change the
Exactly.
order you do dungeons. And you have shopping, which is just which split do I flute to? You know, like it's not really
Yep.
you never flute to 2, but I don't know NMG. Oh, careful. Okay. The Krithel is in trouble. I think he's even going for the safety heart. Just do a 2-heart fight. All right. You can kill the mini Helma for a chance at dropping 1 heart, and you can pick up the pot. But looks like he's not going to need it. Let's see. Taking it very safe, but this is going to be the killing hit.
Okay. Yeah, good fight back. He may have missed the initial double poke.
I think he did. So I think all those other hits counted. So Doom Tap is in Hera now. That happened very fast. He just did a clip on the mountain, and we see a lot in this run, called Hera Clip, where you jump off the bottom of the screen and land on the top. And you do Hera now because you want to have full health going into Misery Mire. One of the safety options in a route like this is you do Hera earlier so that you have the extra heart for Thieves and the refill, but the sacrifice is that you then would want to heal at Old Man to have full health for Mire, and that costs a lot of time. It's also you're usually easier to kill Moldorm with the Tempered Sword than it is with the hammer, which is what you would be doing otherwise.
Yeah, I guess that we see Hera Clip so much because it lets us dodge those Dark World transitions and the mirrors and whatnot.
It is just an indispensable transportation option.
Yeah.
It's like having the flute, basically.
Exactly.
There's going to be some more clipping here. This isn't quite Hera Clip. It's going to look like Hera Clip. Instead of actually entering Hera, Doom Tap will clip off the bottom of the mountain and continue going down. Hit that portal and then go down again to the bottom of the screen. And by wrapping his screen this many times, he can do what we call a super jump, where you jump 8 times and it puts you at the very bottom of the map, like the whole map. And that's the fastest way to get to Mire from here.
Wow.
So going to be a lot of blind overworld movement in the Mire screen. It's something that the runners memorize. You can use some visual cues on, what screen is showing you, even if it doesn't look like the actual collision you're following. It's something you have to sit down and learn that I have not done so. But you can see him dashing along the slope and then dashing up. There's a whole bunch of collision and deep water to avoid here. So if you don't know the movement, you'll get lost. And you use Ether in this spot. If you hold down, you get a nice fast scroll that saves a few frames entering the dungeon. That's one of the scariest spin speeds in this game. I mean, obviously the spin speed you do for pod basement clip is actually the scariest, but it's really easy to accidentally jump off the ledge there and have to either mirror or clip back up, lose a ton of time. So you saw Krithel tiptoeing off the ladder to make sure that didn't happen. But the spin speed saves enough time that it's worth going for. So Mire is a little dangerous too. It looks like they have a lot of health, but they'll be getting Spike Key, and that costs 3. You get 1 back. You really want to have 6 hearts going into Vidi. You often end up with 5, because you get hit by random stuff. And that's still doable, but a lot more scary.
See Doom Tap buffering his Sword Slash to wait for that fireball, playing it safe. I guess to your point about heart budget being a real concern in this category here.
Yeah, this is true. Like Doom Tap would normally just go for beating the fireball and NMG.
Exactly. He would hope to beat it.
I also don't expect to see Spark Gamble from either runner. Slow scroll for Krithel, saving about half the frames Doom Tap did. It's like barely any. It's like 12 frames or 7 frames or something, depending on how fast your scroll is. But it looks cool. Worth noting that Doom Tap is +5 out of Hera, which is a really good pace to be on when you have the world record. And Krithel is saving time in every split, except for Hera, so he, it's hard to PB after failing early bomb jump, but he has the potential to at least get a 110, which is a very good time. Now, Mire is the same, other than the heart budget, except for spooky action. We still do it, but it's done differently because you don't have that flute altitude. No flute in this
Right,
category.
flute here. Yep.
So you set altitude by throwing some Mario block in the pit, which sets a high altitude, 255. And you have to do the actual spooky action differently because your altitude is much higher than it would be with the flute. Doomtap confident enough that he doesn't need that heart. When you have 6 and 7 are basically the same for the Vidi fight. So it's more about whether you expect to lose another heart on the way there or not. And he doesn't expect to, so he doesn't pick up that extra heart. Did Doomtap actually save Spooky there?
It didn't look like it.
We'll see if he arms it again in this room. You have another pit available to you, but it's slower. Yeah, he's not even bothering here, so he must know. Well, there are... Oh. Huh. Oh, he's doing the, a different Spooky. Okay, so... That's cool.
Oh boy.
He armed Spooky with the slot 0 block, I think? Or like a slot 3 block. He just used a different Ancilla slot to do Spooky. That was really cool. I expected to
this
see...
fight should look the same
Yeah.
as in NMG. Just
He did the
don't miss
5
out.
heart fight. It's a little safer than the 4 heart fight. So you're less likely to get just eat an eyeball. If you have the 6 hearts, you might as well do it. Doesn't really cost time to... There's still a 0 cycle on it. This is probably the last, like, really hard split. Except I think maybe Doomtap and Krithel might go for a second basement clip to speed up the back of Pod. I know Doomtap will, because he's been practicing it before the stream.
Okay, so Grithel did toss a block there and use Boots Dust to maintain Spooky here.
Yeah, it's a more classic Spooky to do. I don't quite understand the benefit of what Doomtap did, except that he didn't have to dash dust for these blocks. He instead dash dusted for the other one and then placed a block in slot 4 to force the actual Spooky in slot 3, which is interesting. Maybe it saves time.
Okay.
Okay, is it synchronizing? Okay, Krithel did not want to take that hit, but he knows how to do the 4 heart fight, but it is dangerous. Oh, I missed the fact that Doomtap actually did a Spooky 3, so that must be the new tech from Zero Rush to do Spooky 3. This isn't ideal.
No. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna do a party. He can take 1 more slime damage, but he's gonna take a quote safe. I call it safe, but like anytime they're not in the slime, you are in danger of getting hit by an eyeball. I think I'll be fine here. He just has to spin that one. He has exactly 8 arrows to do the big eyeball. All right, we survived.
That was a pretty
That's
good
what counts.
recovery. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been seeing a lot of like very few Vidi deaths actually in the league attempts that people have been doing. I think a lot of people have a lot of practice with low heart Vidi now. Doomtap did a menu to bomb here. After you get the heart on Landmo, you can use the menu, and the menu is free because while you're in the menu, the pendant starts falling. And the bomb will be used to get Ice Rod. This is another place where the game can hard lock if you move to the right. It's the same as like going to Eastern from Kakariko. He has to be very careful the way he moves on the screen. It's okay to get hit by the bomb, because that will just... The invisible transition that's following you the whole time will just stop you. The Doomtap returning to Pod. He's in debt. He has to kill this boss for the all dungeons goal. I think he will be doing basement clip again, and this time he'll use the cane to get spin speed in the door. He may or may not use the cane to do the clip itself. You can use the Samaria as a sort of training wheels to do the rail clip. Doomtap doesn't think he saves time with it, but he might do it in the race.
What did dropping that bomb just now accomplish? Do you see that?
I think Doomtap is just routing his bombs so he doesn't have too many coming out of Pod. You get a lot of forced bombs going through Pod. Like when you're going through Bridge, you pick up 2 just to get through it. He only needs 1 to do the clip. He needs 1 for TR and 1 for GT.
Got it.
So he gets 1 here, and he'll get 2 on the Bridge, and he'll have 3. He'll use 1 for the basement clip and have 2, which is what he needs for the rest. It's funny that you have this sort of reverse bomb route, that when you do Pod late, you actually have to worry about ending up with too many bombs because of how many there are in here. Funny property of the Mini Helma is when you dash through the Mini Helma, the Samaria Blast will do dash damage, which is why he's able to kill it with a single shot. It's a subtle little thing, but it's something that people noticed when they were doing this. He has to make sure that the turtles aren't going to be in his way. So he counts to 4 when he's there. And then he starts the clip. Meanwhile, Krithel has a successful ice wrap, no hard lock. Doomtap's going for the Samaria training wheels method, developed by Requiem of Spirit. There's a route where you do both basement clips later, so you can do this both times, or just the first one and not the other one. This one's optional. If he really wanted to, he could go through Pod normally. And he's in. He's got 3 hearts for Helm of Sword, but he also has Tempered Sword, so it's not that dangerous. He can get hit once, and he really shouldn't need to. Another thing that you see, they're mirroring here. I didn't mention this, but if you have done Desert and you're still in the Light World, Pod will not drop a crystal. So you have to mirror to get back to the real Dark World, because you're not actually in the real Dark World. When you do this clip, you start in the Light World and you end in the Light World. But if you use the mirror, you go to the Dark World and you get your crystal on Helmasaur. Yeah, Krithel's gonna come out of Pod with way too many bombs. I don't believe Krithel has learned the Samaria training rules method. That's not what he practiced. He's been doing this for years, so he prefers to do the way he practices. It doesn't even look like he'd be saving time with it. Although he is having to redo some of these sections. Still very fast. I think that was faster than Doom's.
I don't know if either of us is muted. I'm just not talking very much. Sorry.
It's okay. I can talk plenty. Oh, Krithel is on 1 heart. So he does need to be a little careful. Oh no, he dies! I hope he remembers to mirror, because this will also put him in fake Dark World. No, mirror. Hang on, I'm gonna go to a stream.
All right. Doomtap we see doing Turtle Rock backwards compared to the no major glitches route. Which is pretty interesting.
Okay, Kurthel either remembered or got my message. We do allow helping. Like, the runners can watch the restream if they want. They can watch their opponents. It's not randomizer where you have hidden information. Plus, the spirit of speedrunning.
Everything.
Yeah, the spirit of speedrunning is it's mostly you're playing against yourself, and the races are just an excuse to do no reset runs, essentially. Oh, nice. I love this. When people can do the bottom left pokey, although he doesn't go for the key dash. I don't know if he was scared or if he just wasn't on the pixel. You can get a key dash there, and it's the fastest way to do the room if you get that RNG, but it's also hard. Critical has 10 bombs, yeah. I think there isn't really any point in trying to dump bombs at this point. You just deal with the extra menuing in GT, which is the reason you would dump the bombs. Like, Doomtap has a perfect number of bombs to use one in the pit room for Ice Armos, and then get a faster menu to the bow.
I just realized Krithel's split name is actually Fake Dark World.
Yes. But it's hard to remember when you die in a dungeon that, like, that also puts you in Fake Dark World. Same thing happens in Ice and Mire. Those are the 3 dungeons where you have to worry about Fake Dark World. On other routes where you don't basement clip, you don't need to worry about pod because you haven't done Desert yet. This is the only time where you have to worry about pod and Fake Dark World. In fact, normally when you do that, you don't want to fix Fake Dark World because you'll be a bunny. You haven't actually gotten your Moon Pearl yet. Okay, should be safe now. Just 2 more hits. Can take 1 hit. Gets out of pod. It's kind of funny how this, like, you do a 4-heart Helma in the other route because you do it so early, and that's extremely dangerous. You're doing it with the hammer instead of the swords. It's still dangerous in this route too because you take so much damage going in, so much intentional damage that you usually enter the fight with 4 hearts or 5 hearts if you take a safety heart. And even though you have like the tempered sword, you can still get hit for 2 damage and just eat away all your health if you're not careful, or if you get really bad RNG. Doomtap's still having a really good run. He's plus 10 on PB coming out of TR. He did something called Louis Hop, where he jumps off of the island in a perfect way to land inside of the ledge so he can continue hopping down. If you don't do that, you have to spin speed out of the ledge just slower and susceptible to dead rocks. Doomtap's TR was also really good. He got 0 from gold, like tied gold. Red donuts, as we call them. Because it says 0-0 on your live split.
So do we have to get the Swamp Big Key, or is that one of the ones that we get to cheat?
The funny thing about Swamp Big Key is the only thing that it actually does is open the big chest. There are no Swamp Big Key doors. Right. There are no Big Key doors in Swamp. And they already got the hook shot, so no Swamp Big Key. This is Go Mode Swamp. You just go through it. They get to do one glitch in here called Diver Down, which is a way to skip the water flooding section in the back. This is one of those glitches that's allowed in randomizer, but not allowed in RMG. Oh. I missed it. Did Krithel just YOLO the Gerdo walk on Laser Bridge? Like the Laser Bridge walk skip? Normally you would menu buffer there and read your queue, and if you land on the right spot, you can just do a walk skip for free. But it looks like maybe Krithel just dashed to the right pixel and walked.
Interesting.
If you don't land on the right pixel, you have to back it up with a normal dash skip. Pretty impressive. Krithel gets an easier RNG and a chance at a fairy. Very nice. Fairy just makes it a little safer. If you do magic saving strategies on Trinix, you can also save refill frames. I don't think Krithel goes for those. Oh, I might have been wrong about Doomtap's bomb routing. I guess he doesn't use bombs in ice. He does... I'll do a clip later. I'm not going to go into it now because we're still in Swamp, but ice is a very glitchy split and very fast-paced. Ooh, Krithle's having a bit of a party here. Oh, no. This is rough. He'll be fine, I think.
Oh, no.
He just has to not hit that anti-fairy. Okay. It's fine. We're just on Laser Bridge. It doesn't feel good to die here, but it's one of the fastest deaths.
Safety door built in, I guess?
Yes. Yeah. It's one of the fastest deaths in the game, really. You just go back in and do it again. I missed if Doom was able to get the 0 cycle. Oh, careful. He's not going to get a fairy now. He already got it. Okay, I think we're out of here.
We made it. And we'll need the full magic here, obviously.
Yes. I think you would go for it anyway, unless you're really low on health. It's usually worth it for refill alone. Krithel is in 1-hit KO on this fight. He goes for 3 and 2 instead of 4 and 2. I think maybe he's had some bad experiences with the 4th hit not counting, which throws off your rhythm. So he just doesn't go for it. You don't need to. You're going to get a 1-cycle Trinix anyway, unless you have a really bad time.
And Doom is now ahead of PB pace, which is world record pace.
That's incredible. Wonder if he goes for the spaces clip. No, he's going for the standard tap up and then mirror wrap. This is a mirror wrap. This is why we don't need mitts for ice. However, we do need the glove for the inside.
Got it.
So when you use the mirror on the same frame, you transition, it puts you on the other side of the transition. And then when you take that transition from the wrong side, it will move you half a screen over, which happens to be in the dungeon. You saw that he did this in TR too. It's nice that the game developers put these dungeons in the middle of the screen. You know, it looks nice on the map, but also it really helps us get in with the mirror. Ice Palace also glitchy. We get to do Icebreaker. If you play Rando, you're familiar with this glitch. If you're not a world record level runner, you can get blue mail on this split by picking up that chest with the big key in it and then getting the blue mail on the way to Cold Stare. It only costs 10 seconds. But it's so late in the run, it's not really worth it usually on this route. It might be worth it on the other route that does ice earlier. Krithel doing a different technique for Louis Hop. This is dashing. I think he was maybe off by 1 and he backed it up into the dash. Oh man, when the runners put emotes in chat before we actually see the boss fight, it's always a fun time. You know what? That's fine.
Yeah, not
It's
so bad.
fine.
I've seen worse.
You usually have a lot of health going into Cold Stare. It's done so late in the run, and you're not doing IPBJ. You're not taking that intentional spike hit on that cross room. So, if you're doing what Doomtap does, where you just clip through the wall without a bomb, you can get to Cold Stare with beams. But you probably don't because you walk across some spikes on the way to the small key chest. It's funny how different Ice Palace is from RMG. Like, you do almost none of the same rooms. And when you do, you're not doing them in the same direction. Now, this is Doomtap's last dungeon, going into GT. However, GT is not actually the last dungeon. There will also be one more, which we'll get into. It's a little unfortunate. It's Aga Tower, and it's where the RNG is, and it's at the end. But we'll worry about that later.
Cripple almost got anti-fairy skip in the dam. Maybe a frame slow. And then inside GT, is the routing pretty much the same as NMG?
It's the same. I think the only differences are your health and magic routing. Mainly that you don't need magic coming out of GT, but you can if you want to. If you're doing Castle Tower with the Fire Rod, I think most runners will pick up the magic in GT. But if you're not, then you don't need it because Aga Tower itself will refill you when you're done.
Yeah, I think I just saw Doom confuse himself on a menu from not having flute, but I could be wrong.
That's
the other
also
difference.
true. That's the sort of thing you notice that I don't notice. It's like I don't think about the fact that you usually have a flute here. There are, I guess, menu differences, and of course, if they have that bottle, they have to do other menus differently.
Mm-hmm. We will need the arrows from this chest here on Doomtap's side.
Oh yeah, he goes for Mike arrows. Apparently confident enough to just do it. Very nicely done.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll also need the other arrows, so it's not...
Yes.
He's not, like, saving time from the other room. He actually does need them. So, welcome Raiders from Zelda Speedruns 3. For those who just got here, this is an All Dungeons Restricted Major Glitches run. We've seen most of the glitches already, but there is some Castle Tower climbing after this, so it's a little different from no major glitches in that we have another dungeon to do after. Otherwise, it's just going to be a pretty bog standard GT climb with less health. And on Crithal's side, you'll actually get to see one of the glitchier splits, which is Ice Palace. You actually do very little of that dungeon. You just clip through a bunch of stuff and you're in Cold Stare. Doomtap does a different strategy for Mimic Zero that we call Heart Neutral. Normally you would dash across the spikes and take 3 hits, but when you haven't gotten the full health refill that you would get at the end of TR, you don't want to take that many hits and risk dying in the GT climb. So he does a slightly slower strat that saves the 3 hearts. We call it Heart Neutral because you pick up a heart and then you walk across a spike and lose the heart and you take 0 damage. Okay, Grithel doing the mirror wrap to get to Ice Palace, skipping the need for the mitts. he has the mitts. If he wanted to use them, it would cost 8 seconds to do the mirror and swim over and go back into the portal. Careful. Whoa! That was cool. I thought he was stuck in that wall, but he picked up a cane and then walked out of the wall somehow.
I have no idea.
I don't know either. I mean, if you get stuck in the wall, you just mirror and do it again. It's fine.
Makes sense.
This is the hammer. Okay. I wonder why... Oh, okay. He just menued too early, I think. That's okay. I hope he has enough magic. I think he does.
He doesn't need any more except for Cold Stare, right?
Yeah, he needs to get the 2. Maybe he'll get this one. Apparently he doesn't need it. As long as you're not 2 full rod shots down, you're fine.
Yeah.
He used, I think, 2 extra canes, so he needs both magic. Exactly.
Yep. Exactly.
Anybody know how many blue balls Doomtap has in this run?
I don't. Somebody might.
I think something that Doomtap has been theorizing is that getting the magic here is actually faster in some circumstances. Oh no, he just doesn't get it. Okay, he just goes for the Helma key. Ooh.
Looks like we're gonna have a minor Cold Stare party.
Oh, okay, so I think what people are alluding to in chat as we watch Krithel survive Cold Stare is that Doomtap's world record actually fails the GT climb, like the GT clip, in a way that costs a pretty decent amount of time. So, sorry, I'm watching the Cold Stare.
Yeah.
We're good, we're good.
Okay. Yeah, we made it.
Which means that Doomtap has like a million years to save in the split. It's just really down to fate now that he's going to do Aga Tower, and there's going to be an Aghanim fight at the end of it, and it's kind of the elephant in the room with the speedrun is that your RNG is all at the very end of the game, and that can be pretty rough when you're on pace. Because you don't actually know if you're on pace until you've done it.
Solid right. 3 cycle, I believe.
Last glitch of the game. This is called Clipe. He was actually so fast he had to wait for the bat to spawn. You can save some of that bat cutscene by scrolling it off screen, but if he were to dash too early, the bat wouldn't spawn, and he would either have to go back in and respawn it, or he would transition too far and soft lock, which should not be great. We are minus 24 going into Castle Tower. I think that was the quick warp. He's on a tear. I would love to see a world record on Restream. That would be really cool.
What it depends on at this point, as you said, Aga Blue Balls, also Ganon warps are a big deal. His Ganon fight is very good on PB.
It may not look like much, but that fairy actually has the potential to save a lot of time in the post-Aga refill. He's likely to get a full magic in the Spear Guards room, and if you can get both the full magic and the fairy, he can save a lot of time on refill. He's getting a lot of lag. I'm told by RMG runners that this dungeon's a lot laggier when you do it at the end because you have all these hearts in your HUD.
That makes sense. It is a lot of hearts. You are certainly not intended to be here with this many hearts.
I want to say Doom has like 2 blue balls or 1. Like it's not 0, but it's small.
I think Oase said he had 1 blue ball earlier.
Okay, there's the magic. Very good. I'll use some of it here to do the last couple rooms. Circle of Pots is different when you don't have a hookshot or boomerang out. There's a lot of RNGs you have to practice. You can't just always do what he did there. You have to sometimes read that guard and go the other way if you get the wrong one. Riffle also opted not to heal at the old man. Healing at the old man costs, what was it, like 6 seconds? It's a decent amount of time. Maybe it's more. You would get some of it back by doing a faster gauntlet, or a Mimic Zero. Riffle also does a safer version of getting the arrows, because he needs them.
Yep.
He doesn't want to go for Mike arrows and miss, because that would be tragic.
That's the strat that I use. It's pretty comfy.
Yeah. It's what you do in Rando, too, because it's also tragic to miss chests in Rando, because that could just be the big
so
key.
true. All right.
People do Mike.
Doomtap pace update. He's 22.8 seconds ahead entering the Agra 1 fight here.
Is that the first blue ball?
I believe.
Going for clipes when he's bored. You don't actually want to clipe out in this room, but you can if you wanted to. It's a second blue ball. Krithel also going for the cart neutral strat. 3 blue balls so far. It's getting dicey.
Yeah, any more might be rip.
Might be rip. Still 107 pace.
Absolutely.
I believe he's had 107s before that were a little bit above world record. Okay, it looks like it was 3?
I think that was 3.
It's 3 if it was...
Needs,
yeah, after the lightning.
probably needs to tie his gold.
Yeah, unfortunately his GT, or his Ganon is, I think...
extremely good.
Really good. But it was 0 warps, I think.
It was, yeah.
I don't know if he can realistically save time on this one, but he can still have a very good run. He can still 107. That's the way she goes in this category. Krithel's having a bit of a gauntlet too.
All right, actually 7.4 seconds
Technically on
ahead,
pace.
So.
Yeah, I mean, you could tie gold now. But, you know, the Ganon will warp, and you don't have any control over that.
Yeah, probably 2 warps would be comfy. 3 good ones, but...
And Doontap is famous in the community for being one of the best at fighting Ganon. So
Yeah.
when we say Doontap has to beat his gold, it's not like he can just get better. Like, his gold is probably extremely optimized. I don't know how it is compared to his NMG gold, but it's still a really good Ganon.
It's very good.
He goes for these like mid-room cape spins and other things that normal people don't do. Alright, those are some warps that we probably couldn't afford. How many was
Probably
that?
not.
He also has to not like blue Ganon here. Okay. Oh, he misses the mid-room. Oh, and he misses
Okay.
that.
Still going to
Okay.
be a very good run, but yeah.
Cape spins. Even if you get the cape spins, it can mess up your rhythm, making it a little harder to get these torch lights. Just changes the timing slightly. So that was cool. Doontap did something that's a pretty recent tech, which is lighting the torch before the fanfare can save some lag frames going into the Triforce room. So yeah, a 107 on Restream, only basically like 2 Ganon warps behind PB. That was objectively a better run than his PB because it got 2 blue balls more than, plus the third blue ball is like an extra blue ball.
I mean, he was 22.8 ahead entering Agra 1. I think that says it all.
Yeah, this is...
And then really only one, I would say, small misstep in Phase 4 Ganon. Otherwise, a really good fight.
Did Doontap make any mistakes? I know his basement clip is a little slower than Krithel's. I don't know how it compares to his own. I think Krithel has more years practicing basement clip than he does, so it could just be that Krithel's faster than it natively.
I'm trying to remember if there were any major mistakes. Really, really early on, there was something that caused Krithel to almost catch up, even though...
Yeah, it was basement clip.
Okay.
Basement clip was really good for Krithel.
So yeah, that was probably it.
There was something else too. It might have been the Kiki skip, or it was something before Pod where you gain a little time, but I don't remember.
All right, Crystal wrapping up GT.
Virgil also gets the fairy. And the key dash. Sometimes it can be hard to get both, because the fairy might not be in line with the door.
When was the last time that we save and quit? Is that fairy like reasonably consistent there?
Yeah, it's you save and quit before GT, so
Got it.
it depends on whether you do mini Helma key or not. If you do mini Helma key, you have a chance to get the heart drop. That's why Doomtap was talking about. I think it was him talking about that maybe we should just be doing mini Helma key if you want to maximize refill, because you have a better chance of getting fairy, and you can get the magic in the fairy skip room.
That makes
It's
sense.
kind of funny to call it that in this category where you want the fairy, but
It looks like we are joined by Doomtap. Doomtap, GG.
Hey, thank you, GG's.
GG, really nice run. It's better than your record.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely the best run that I've had outside of the RNG. And most of the time loss on top of that was the basement clips. I was just way too nervous, and I just wanted to make sure I didn't mess it up.
Yeah, we noticed that Krithel actually passed you up. In
I
the
watched
first
him
basement
pass me
clip.
in real time after.
He's
I was
really
so
good at the
slow.
basement clip.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't go for Uncle Jump, which is the main reason he was behind. But yeah, that basement clip was incredible. I think he was ahead until he failed the bomb jump in Hera, and then had a few more snags along the way.
Yeah, most of my splits were satisfactory or better. And then there were the basement clips. Eastern was just fine. GT was just fine. And then the 3 blue balls. And I could have, on Ganon, if I'd gotten everything I tried to do, I would have tied my BB. So I don't know how I would have felt about that. So I went for a mid-room spin and missed it. And then
you got
I got
hit.
Yeah. So that would have been a tie. I don't know, it would have been cool. Just
Well,
play
it's a
better.
tie, but a better run. I mean, even with that,
Yeah,
it
I would
was
have
still a
submitted
better
it
run.
for sure.
It's always fun to add more blue balls to your PB.
Yeah, speaking of blue balls, MM2's talking in the race channel. He says he has 6, so that's fun.
That was fun.
That's
At least it's
exciting.
not 7. I mean, I'm just happy to see MM2 still in it.
Mhm.
He's been a pretty avid resetter. Maybe he'll actually join League after finishing a run in a race setting.
Yeah, I think if we just want to talk about League for a little bit in general, that's coming up next week for the next 3 weeks, and it'll be on TSR. And I think most of the runners have accepted that your race probably won't be very good. And like this run for me was an outlier, and we're expecting a lot of disasters and just hoping that some people have some good runs and have fun and get some more PBs on the board and stuff like that. It's just an excuse to play.
I'm approaching this league as a category showcase. Everyone's doing different routes, and when we have a restream, even if people are having disasters and maybe the race isn't going to be that necessarily that competitive, like nobody racing you really has that much of a chance unless you have a major disaster. But we can still get to see the comparison of the routes and people's individual like ways of handling things, like how you both did Circle of Pots differently, even though you're both on Fire Rod, and so on. It's really cool to see the side by side. Even on the same route, you still did very different things.
Yeah, I was trying to watch the race, but I didn't realize how much. I didn't have enough mental energy free to like pay attention and actually play the game. So I just had it on, but I wasn't watching as much as I wanted to.
Completely understand that.
Comparing this to something like RMG, where I played that for so long, and that one's a lot more autopilot. You just dash and then dash again, and then dash again, and then do a hammer dash or something. A lot of it doesn't take too much thought, where this is more involved, I guess.
Just dash and dash again. That sounds like boots clipping.
What?
Just dashing over and over again.
Yeah, but we actually continue the dash.
Oh, that's pretty cringe.
Yeah. Torch glitch. Actually, the last glitch in the game. Even though I said Clipe was. I guess torch glitch counts. Doesn't count if it's RMG. Riddle having a good phase 4. He took a hug in phase 1, I think, but it didn't matter. Or phase 2. Like, you go into Ganon with full health, you're usually fine to do things like that. As long as it doesn't make you fall off.
Yeah, I usually take a hit on purpose, too, just to get rid of the sword beams, but I don't hug him. That's too scary for me.
So this is actually a really close race between MM2 and Krithel. MM2 finishing at 1:15.10, Krithel finishing at 1:15.36.
Yeah, well played.
Well played indeed. I hope we can get Crystal in for an interview as well. And if not, we're gonna wrap it up quickly here. There we are. Perfect. GG, Crystal.
GG.
Yeah, welcome in. Really good run. Except for the
Except for everything.
fall to the early bomb jump in Hera.
Except for literally everything.
Well,
I'd say your basement
a few
clips are really
disasters,
good.
but
Pretty much all of my glitches were decent. I can't think of many of the glitches that went wrong. It was just everything else.
I'm curious
yeah, the
about your
glitches were
Ice
really
Palace.
impressive.
Your Ice Palace, like when you went into that slope and you got out of it. Is that
Oh,
something you do, or
My
that?
favourite new strat. It's great. Yeah. Post clicking through, hold left, menu buffer when you're in the right spot. And then
Interesting.
place the block right.
I saw
I
him
don't
do it
know.
yesterday, and I didn't know if it was accidental or not, but I guess it's not.
Does it
looks
say-
so janky.
Time? Like, what
I
is the
don't know.
reason?
I've anecdotally found that I get the Barry in the way less, which I
That's
assume means
cool.
it saves time, but I mean I've not done science on that.
Well, you bamboozled me into thinking you were soft locking, and it was really fun to watch you not soft lock there.
GG dude, fantastic, right?
GG's. Were you watching the race any?
Yeah, I had it. I turned it on when I don't know, at some point when I was like +3. Yeah.
Oh, you
We might as
blasted
well get
past
this
me
on.
in the basement clip. You saved like 20 seconds on me or something. I kept standing still. It was great.
I mean, it's like
I was super
you wanna be
nervous.
safe with them,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, this was a particularly good basement player. Yeah, this was close to my goal for first basement player. I did 3 in total without messing any of them up. That's great.
Mhm.
More practice.
Thank you for mirroring it at third basement clip.
Thank you for saying. I heard it on restream before, and then did it, and then say it in chat.
Yeah, I just finished talking about why you have to mirror and then you die and I'm like, oh no, it's going to be another fake Dark World, and it's hard to remember that. You get fake Dark World for 2 different reasons.
I would have been on 4th basement clip if you hadn't said anything.
Well, it would have been really cool to see 4 of them, but it's not, normally to do that we would want to have 2 runs.
All right then. I guess we can call it a day here. So our JD Silvergun about to finish as well. So I think we can quickly wait that out just to get the final time for them. Yeah. In 4th race right now, so should be done any second. There we go. Basically tuned in as they finished. So perfect time for us to wrap it up. Thank you all so much for watching. Big shout outs to our volunteers, to Concision and to Malmo for doing comps. And of course to our racers on and off the restream, to DoomTap, to Crystal, to MM2NES Cartridge, and to Radiant Silvergun, to JD. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it, and see you very soon for more RMG action, either in the community weekly race or in the league that's starting this weekend, right? So, thank you all for watching.